Alright everyone, welcome back to the second tutorial in this tutorial series for website development. My name is Trenton and I'll be your host today for this fantastic tutorial series. So today we will be learning how to create a basic web page in HTML. So we're going to actually get started with the actual base code of our website. Now, remember we need to go to our control panel, and because mine is completely messed up, you should be able to access your XAMPP control panel through your start menu. But for me, you can also do this if you want. I don't see why you would do it, but you can go to your local disk C, XAMPP, and XAMPP control.exe. And that will open up the XAMPP control panel. Now, looks like Apache and MySQL are already running. We don't need MySQL running. All we need is Apache running. So if Apache isn't running, click the button that says start and that will start it. And once it is running and you see that it's running and it looks like it's running from the buttons and all the different things, go to your web browser and type in the URL bar. It doesn't matter what web browser you're using. I recommend using Chrome or Firefox though. Go to localhost. Remember how in the last tutorial we went to localhost? Well, here you go. So, oh yes, and sorry, I forgot to mention, hopefully the quality is fixed on the videos. I think it might be fixed, although I could be wrong. We'll just see when this video gets uploaded. But localhost. Last tutorial I explained how you'll see a slightly different screen than this. Now, when Apache, I don't know how to properly say it, when Apache's running, the files of your website go in this folder called htdocs. So the reason you see a different folder or a different screen than this is probably, I don't exactly remember it, I'm pretty sure there are other files in here already. Just if you delete those files, you'll see this page, because there'll be an empty directory, an empty directory, so you get a directory tree structure because there's no index page. But what we're gonna do is we are gonna create. Now you can do this however you want. You can go into your text editor and then save the file as, and then that's how you want to create files. The way I like to create files though is in the htdocs folder. Remember, all your website files go in htdocs. You right click in the folder, new text document, and because I have file extension shown, I can edit the file extension as well. I don't think by default file extensions are actually shown. So for the purpose of this tutorial, you wouldn't be able to do that if you didn't have your file extension showing. I'm going to do it through the text editor. So use whatever text editor you like, the one that you prefer. I prefer Sublime Text 2. I used to prefer Notepad++, but it doesn't really matter what you use. This is from just a previous project. If you're using Sublime Text or Sublime Text 2, you can follow along. If you really want to follow along closely with the tutorial and follow every action I do, I recommend downloading Sublime Text 2. You just go and Google Sublime Text 2 and should be the first link, sublimetext.com/2, and of course download it from the downloads page. I guess this is the downloads page. I guess select your operating system and so on and so forth. But once you have Sublime Text 2 open, or any other text editor, in Sublime Text 2, what we can actually do is we can say File, Open Folder, and then we can actually open up a specific folder, and then all the files in that folder will be listed on the side here. So we can easily open and create new files from Sublime Text 2 and navigate our folders easily. So the way we do that is we just go to Computers, Local Disk C, XAMPP, HDDocs. And I actually think it's already open on that, but there's nothing in there. It's like all messed up because of HDDocs, XAMPP, HDDocs. There you go. And then open that. It's just messed up because I moved my files that were previously in there. But make sure your arrow is pointing down. That means your folder is now being displayed because there's nothing in there. It doesn't really matter, I guess. So this applies to all text editors. Because by default, like I said, my favorite way is to right click and click New, and then click the text document, and then change the file extension from there. Because by default on Windows you can't do that. You have to actually change the settings, and I don't really know how. I forget now how to change the show the file extensions so you can edit it. I'm just going to do it so that all operating systems and all users will be able to do it. So in your text editor, File, or however you do, just save the file, save the blank file. And the file type, you want the file type to be PHP. Okay? Even though we're going to be making an HTML page, we're not actually going to be using any PHP in this tutorial. We're going to be using a PHP file extension because we're eventually going to be using PHP in our website. And by default, PHP is not enabled on the HTML file extensions. So we'd have to do some extra work in the .htaccess, which I'll get into later, to get PHP enabled on HTML files. So instead, the easiest way, just to make sure we don't have to do any extra work, is just by saving the file extension as .php. We can make HTML documents in PHP and .php files. So what we're going to name this is we're going to name this index.php. Now by default, so by doing that, you'll now see a blank screen, because now that there's actually an index page in there, it's actually loading that page instead of a directory tree. Although, just to be safe and make sure that it loads index.php as your index page every time, what you want to do is probably click the all files type and name your file .htaccess, or htaccess, sorry, it's .htaccess, and then in that folder say directory index.php. So what this code does is in htaccess files sets some settings for the directory that the htaccess folder is in. So because we have the htaccess in our htdocs folder, that's our base website folder, so that's applying to our base website. And .htaccess I don't think applies to the children or to the child folders. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Although we're saying for this directory, its index page is index.php. So the page that it loads by default, because we're not specifying a specific file, this is just a directory. So the page that it loads by default, because we're not specifying a specific file, this is just a directory. So if we actually had a directory, like if we had a directory named folder, if we just said localhost / folder, it would load the index page, or the directory index. We don't have any index pages in there. But remember, like, youtube.com, that's it. That's a directory. Localhost is our directory. So we're saying that directory's index is the index.php page. We're just making sure that is the index, just in case. But by default it is, but just in case, make sure. Always good to be safe and sound. Now, even though we're 10 minutes into the tutorial, we're finally getting into the actual HTML. So what we're going to do is we're going to specify two tags, HTML and HTML. So in HTML you have in less than and greater than signs, you have obviously some text, and that text is obviously the tag. So this right here, the HTML in the two less than, greater than signs, though that is an HTML tag. Now, what the heck is this line then? It's the exact same thing, but with a slash in it. When you put a slash at the beginning of your HTML tag, what that does is it signals the end of the tag. So without this, it's just saying the HTML tag goes on forever and never ends. We have to specify an end to our tags. So we're ending the HTML tag. Anything inside this HTML, in these HTML tags, are HTML things. The best I can describe it as HTML. It appears on our HTML page. Now, I think it's ! doc type HTML. I'm pretty sure that's the correct tag. I could be wrong. What this does is it sets the type to HTML5, although because I'm not sure about that, I'm just going to remove that. Although if you want to add that in there, you can, if you want to be brave. I'll check that out for the next tutorial and make sure that I'm right on that though. So now there's two main there are two main tags that we want to worry about inside the HTML tags: the head tags and the body tags. HTML documents are very much structured like a person. The head tags deals with all the thinking and the logic. So it goes through before the head tags is not your web page. What you put in the head tags will not appear on your web page. This is where you want to specify things like your title, your when you go to, like right here where it says localhost, like stuff like that, and your icon, stuff like that. The body is actually what appears on your web page. So anything you put in your body tags will show up on your web page, unless it's PHP code. That's for later tutorial. So if we just put inside the body tags, we put, and you don't always have to put your end tag on a different line. You can put it on the same line if you want. If we put P tags, what P tags stand for is paragraph, and you use this tag for text. So if I said J-It Inc. is so awesome, and I save this and I reload, you can see it says Jade Ink is so awesome. I'm going to get more in depth in different HTML tags probably in the next tutorial, but you can do things like numbered H's, which are headers. So header 1 creates a header, which is bolded and large like that. And you can do stuff like that, but remember, because we're just getting into the basic HTML, I'm not going to go into those in this tutorial. Like I said, probably next tutorial. And probably the last thing we're going to worry about for this tutorial is the title tags in the header, or in the head. Now, on our web page, where it says localhost right here in the tab, this is the title. So whatever we put in our title tags is what's going to appear there. So if we say YouTube tutorial, save it, and we reload our web page. I spelled YouTube wrong. Come on, there you go. And you reload the web page. You can see it says YouTube tutorial at the top there. Alright, so thank you for watching. Like I said, probably the next video will be a little more in depth into HTML body tags. Like, I'll probably go into the different the different headers, the paragraph, tables, basic body tags like those. Until then, my name is Trenton, and thank you for watching. Stay classy. Just to make it through,